I am ready to start my scene builder, which was added to my Windows menu here. Okay, so this is how it starts. I'm going to dismiss this window first. I will go back to my project and select the FX Hello World FXML tab, right click and choose Copy File Path. Once I have the path ready, I can go to File and Open and just paste. Okay, so it gets opened, and here our anchor pane, which was created by the wizard that was adding the FXML file to our project, becomes visible right here. This is a big window. I can just resize it to make it a little smaller to fit everything on one screen that I have. And this place in Scene Builder is called the Accordion. So you can basically select different sections of it, like containers, controls, and you can also very effectively search here as well. So for instance, if anchor pane wasn't here, I could just type anchor, and you see it gets here, so I could just drag and drop it to our document hierarchy structure. Okay, so let's go back to containers. And the next thing that I want is the V box, the vertical box. Right, so this one goes right on top of anchor pane, and now it's got combined here into a hierarchical structure like this. So we have an anchor pane, and under it we have the vertical box, which basically aligns the controls that are going to be placed inside the V box, the vertical box, in the vertical manner. Okay, so then we can go to controls and select a button. Okay, so button, we can just drag and drop it right here. The button gets placed. Let's just resize the button a little bit. Here is the inspector section where we can inspect all the properties. So the text display inside the button we can change to what we used to have here, which is say hello world. Okay, so that needs to be resized as well. So we just need to resize the V box and make sure that everything is visible. Now I'm going to switch to the code section of our properties. And in the code we have FXID. So FXID is basically the name of the control that we can use in our event handler code. Okay, so this will be BTN for button hello. Okay, so I'm just going to name it hello like this. And we're also going to add on action handler, which is the default action for the button control. Of course, it's the click, and we'll name it on click button hello, just like this. This will be the name of the method to handle user action in our controller class, which doesn't exist yet. So let's just go to File and Save. Okay, so notice that our FXML file got updated according to our changes in the Scene Builder. So everything is saved. If I go to my week 7 and right click and say clean and build, it actually builds fine. There's no problem building it. However, if I run it, you see that we're getting some exceptions, and basically the exception is telling us that FXML loader failed to properly load the scene graph for our window, because the method handler for on-click this button is missing. So basically we need to have a method to handle the on-click button hello action, and for this we need the controller class, which is currently undefined. So we need to define it. Just like this FXML file is handled by the Scene Builder, we can go to our XML in our project tree and right click and say make controller. So this automatically generates the controller class, and notice that it has our name that we've given to our button, as well as on-click button hello. And notice this new annotation that we have here, FXML. This annotation makes sure that the gadget objects that we place in our user interface are automatically created by the fxml library in Java at runtime. And for our handler on click button hello, we can do the same thing that we did before, just system out print hello world. We can start with this, just add this to the method code. And what's very nice in this feature of NetBeans to generate the controller, once you add the code, and you can just save the file, and you can go back to your fxml and right click and make controller again, and it will be regenerated, but the code that you added here will remain unchanged. So it's safe to jump back to your scene builder, make more changes in your window, and go back here and regenerate the controller again. So this is a continuous process of designing your GUI, graphical user interface. So let's make sure we can build this clean, and everything seems to be doing well. I'm going to run it. And so this is the window that I get right now. So the button should be invoking this method on click button hello. Let's check this out and click the button, and here's our message. So every time we click the button, the new message appears right here. Okay, so let's close this window now, and all of these properties that we give to our controls in Scene Builder are accessible at runtime. So for instance, just to demonstrate, I can add another line of code and print the actual text of our button. So let's resize this to make everything visible. I'll just move it to the top. So I'll just say hello world and then echo hello world. So this should be printing our text. Okay, so save this change, run again. And so this time when we click this button, it prints say hello world and then hello world. So both of these statements generate the output as expected. This is possible because our action event provides us access to the button, which is the source of this action, of this event. And of course, getText returns the text property of our button. And since we already know that our button is referenced by this variable button hello, we can do the same thing by just simplifying this statement. Instead of using the event as the source, we can just use button hello directly referencing getText. And so this time I'll comment out the first version and try this one. All right, so let's do another run, and so this time again it works just fine. One interesting thing to observe about these fxml annotations and the references to our controls is that we never have to say new button hello. All of this work, creation of the objects that support our controls on the graphical user interface input form, is handled directly inside this fxml loader. So fxml loader creates all of the controls, and these annotations inside of our controller class, fx hello world controller, guarantee that these references will be populated with the addresses of the actual objects that correspond to these controls on our user input form.